You're in the rant hole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one by becoming one. Today's rant is for Paru, who said to rant about waifus slash waifu culture, or alternatively just my own waifus. I don't really know if there is a waifu culture per se. It's more like it's just a part of otaku culture to say you have a waifu. I don't really know if anybody takes it all that seriously. Like, I think it's mostly just a way to represent your sense of self via a character. Like, it's very similar to making a favorites list. You know, the reason people like to create favorites lists is that it says something about them, either about their taste or about who they are as a person, that these are the kinds of things that they connect with. And so when you choose a waifu, you're basically saying, like, here is a character that represents my values, or that, like, represents what I want out of a partner. And especially for people who don't have a partner, like, it's a way for them to sort of have fun and project the speculative idea of, like, oh, if I had a girlfriend, or if I could have the ideal woman for me, it would be this character. This character, whoever created this has created the partner that I have been longing for in my everyday life. But there's usually a sense of irony about it, because obviously these characters are unrealistic, and they're not usually that much like real people. So that's where you get the angle of, like, oh, 3D disgusting and shit like that. But I mean, it's all just kind of a meta game that we're playing with each other, you know, talking about our waifus and who we like the most, and it's just a thing to do, really. It's just a fun thing to do. Especially on forums and in places like 4chan, where, 4chan being an image board, it's easy to post pictures of your waifu and to have a conversation about their aesthetics and their aesthetic personas, and so on and so forth. But, as for me, like, I never had a very concrete waifu, because I tend to get too realistic when I think about these things. Like, I honestly will think about it in terms of, like, who would I sincerely want a relationship with? Well, no anime character, because they're all too simple. They're not... They don't have enough nuance presented in them to be, like, a fully fledged person. I can't really imagine most anime characters in situations beyond, like, the anime, and even if I can, there's not any that I could imagine, like, what I would be like with them, because, I've just never seen it represented cleanly enough. But nonetheless, what I tend to gravitate to when I talk about waifus is more just aesthetics that resonate with me, and characters who represent something. Really, I tend to favor, for waifus, characters who are more like characters I wish I was, like Nobue Ito was my classic waifu from Ichigo Marshmallow, and I just like her because she smokes and drinks and rides a motorcycle, and she's cool. She's got a cool attitude. She hangs out with a bunch of cute little girls, and basically acts as though they are her property, as a sort of joke, and it's funny. And she's just a lovable character who I can sort of project onto a bit. Or Tsukuyomi Komoe from A Certain Magical Index, who I like her because she's tiny and pink haired, and she smokes and drinks, and she's, like, much older than most of the rest of the cast, even though she looks childish. And, like, I feel as though if I were to, like, at some point, really I don't feel this way anymore, but, like, at the time that I was really obsessed with the character, it's like, this is who I wish I was, is, like, someone who's just a tiny, cute, pink-haired girl, but who has the personality of a surly, older adult. But, like, in both cases, it's not even really a waifu. It's more like a projection fu. And then there's characters who I really respect, like Tsunemori Akane. I might call her a waifu just because I want to say that I like the character a whole lot. But it's not really that I personally would want a relationship with them. That's the thing. I think it gets convoluted where there are some people who look at it more as, like, a waifu is not just my favorite female character, but the one that I am most romantically attracted to. Whereas I think there's a lot of other people who just, it's whoever's their favorite female character. Especially if they're waifu fagging, like, changing waifus every season. It's probably just to say, this is my favorite character of the season, just to prop up the things you like, which people will find any excuse to do. So, yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on waifus. Whatever.